Happy National Margarita Day. Today we are going to make 4 margaritas. That's right, this is another episode of Booze Breakdown. But today we're not focusing on the tequila, we're focusing on the orange liqueurs. We're going to compare 4 different liqueurs and see how they stack up in a margarita. Alright, so let's meet the contestants. We've got Triple Sec. So Triple Sec is a sweet orange flavored liqueur. It's typically lower in alcohol and it's typically sweeter than most. Despite the word sec meaning dry in French, it is actually quite sweet. Secondly, we have Cointreau. Cointreau is basically a premium Triple Sec. It's drier, it's higher in alcohol, 40%. It actually used to be called Curaçao Blanco Triple Sec. Alright, after that we have Grand Marnier. Grand Marnier is a cognac blended with distilled bitter orange essences and sugar. It is 40% alcohol, so higher, and it happens to be the most expensive liqueur on today's menu. Lastly, we have the Pierre Ferrand Dry Curaçao. So the Dry Curaçao is a triple sec blended with brandy and cognac. It's 40% alcohol. As you can see, we've got 2 dark liqueurs and 2 white liqueurs. So there we have it. There are the 4 liqueurs. Let's give them a taste, shall we? Okay, so we're going to start at this end with the Triple Sec. So as I mentioned, it is orangey. It's orange flavored, and it is quite sweet. This particular Triple Sec is 22% alcohol. So yeah, probably going to be the sweetest of the bunch. Let's move on to Cointreau. So Cointreau has a kind of a more intense orange flavor on the nose. It is definitely drier, but there's still a sweetness to it. But it's just, like I said, it's basically a premium Triple Sec. Moving on to Grand Marnier. Grand Marnier is delicious. It's basically, if you like cognac, it's cognac with little sweeter and orange flavored. It's really, really good. You can drink this on its own, on the rocks. And it makes great cocktails. It's definitely one of my favorite, or if not my favorite, orange liqueur. So, yeah, Grand Marnier, excellent. Lastly, the Pierre Ferrand Dry Curaçao. So, on the nose, similar to the Grand Marnier, because it's a mix of orange liqueur and cognac, so very similar to the Grand Marnier. It's dry, but it has a sweetness to it. There's a syrupiness to it. All right, let's rate these guys. I think number 1, gotta give it Grand Marnier. Number 2 for the taste, I would say the Dry Curaçao. Number 3, the Cointreau. It's drier, but it's got a really good orange flavor. And in last place, gotta say Triple Sec. Triple Sec, it's just kind of a cheaper liqueur. It's too sweet on its own. And the orange flavor is kind of lacking. Okay, let's make some margaritas. So let's get our 4 mixing glasses. We're gonna start with our Reposado Tequila. I like Reposado. You can use Blanco, but for me, Reposado just has better flavor, more richness. I'm using Hornitos Reposado. It's kind of my go-to tequila for cocktails. So we'll be adding 2 ounces of tequila to each of our glasses. With a lot of tequila. Now I'm going with a traditional 3-ingredient margarita. So we're doing tequila, lime, and orange. So 1 ounce of lime juice to each of our glasses. So as I said, 3 ingredients, that's it. We're not adding any sweetener to this margarita. A lot of people will add either some simple syrup or agave syrup to sweeten things up. I find that you need that when you use a cheap tequila, but if you use a good tequila, that's why I like Reposado, I don't think you need that sweetener. Okay, let's do 1 ounce of our orange liqueur. So we're starting with our Triple Sec. Second glass is going to get 1 ounce of the Cointreau. All right. Third one is getting the Grand Marnier. Fail. So 1 ounce of Grand Marnier goes into the third glass. Last but certainly not least, our dry Curaçao. An ounce of that. All right, we're gonna fill our glasses with ice. Try to splash too much on the bar. Double flippy move, drop them down, and then we're gonna do an awesome shaky shaky. All right, we're gonna rim half our glasses with some kosher salt. So you wet it with a lime and then you apply some salt. I like to only rim half the glass when I make margaritas. I don't like salt on every sip. Obviously, I'm not going to show you doing every glass. We're also serving with a large ice cube. That's how I drink my margaritas. You could drink them up. I like them in a rocks glass with a nice big chunk of ice. All right, let's pour our margaritas into our glasses. Love the color difference when you use different liqueurs and stuff. The first two are clear, so they look pretty much the same. Garnishing, we're just giving each one a lime wheel. You could slide it on the rim. I'm not a fan of that. I just like to put the lime in the glass. And there it is. There are 4 awesome looking margaritas where we swapped out the orange liqueurs. So let's get into our taste testing and find out which one's the best. Will it be Triple Sec, Cointreau, Grand Marnier, or dry Curaçao? Okay, so we're gonna start with the Triple Sec. So yeah, this one's surprisingly really good. Doesn't give much orange flavor. Like I said, these cheap Triple Secs don't have the greatest orange flavor, but it does bring a much needed sugar and sweetness to it because there's no added sugar to this margarita. All right, the Cointreau is good. Cointreau definitely get more orange flavor. Definitely, if you're a tequila aficionado, I would say those 2 first ones, the clear liqueurs, probably the best one because they're not imparting as much flavor. That it's very tequila forward. Whereas when you get to the Grand Marnier, which we're going to do next, it adds there's a lot more to it because Grand Marnier has a much more complex flavor. Oh yeah. It's so good though. So the Grand Marnier, because there's the cognac base in there, it has a deeper flavor. It imparts a lot more flavor. It doesn't overpower the tequila, but it's definitely a lot more present than the other ones. A lot more presence than the Cointreau or the Triple Sec. This is so good. This is how I like to drink my margaritas. You don't need sweetener when you use Grand Marnier. There's so much depth to the flavor. All right, let's do the dry Curaçao. Okay, I'm a little disappointed in this one. I was expecting this one to be closer to the Grand Marnier, but there's less depth to the added flavor. The orange is there. I taste it. I'm not tasting much of the kind of brandy cognac base. The tequila is definitely present. But yeah, okay, let's rate them. Number 1, definitely, without a doubt, the Grand Marnier. After that, you know what? Surprisingly enough, I'm going to go with the Triple Sec because it added that sweetness that was kind of missing because we didn't add any sweetener to this. So that was a very welcome addition. After that, kind of a tie between the Cointreau and the Curaçao. If I had to give it, I'd probably say Cointreau first or third, and then we finish with the Curaçao in last place. Okay, so let's compare that with my results for the my liqueur tastes. So I had the Grand Marnier in first place for both, but then I preferred the Curaçao, which I put in last for the margarita tasting. And then my Triple Sec was last, and it was second place. Interesting. So it's amazing how you can have, one set of tastes for when you're trying just a liqueur, but then when you mix it in a cocktail, it really changes everything about it. Very interesting. Well, guys, I really hope you stuck around to the very end. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around with this whole experiment of making margaritas and swapping out orange liqueurs. That's what Booze Breakdown is all about. We're trying, we're comparing, we're analyzing, and it's a lot of fun. Obviously, everyone has a different palate. Everyone is going to taste is completely subjective. So maybe your results, if you try this, will be completely different from mine. Who knows? But anyways, I hope you give this a try. I hope you try different liqueurs whenever you make margaritas. And yeah, we'll see you next time, guys. Cheers. And happy Margarita Day.